dubc here. We're back on another Survival Saturday. Weather's getting hot and the bugs are back out. I'm back where it all started. What I mean by that is this is the place I first came to do my first solo overnight. It was about a year ago, and I want to celebrate that by coming out here to the same spot and throwing up a tarp shelter and doing another overnight. No special gear reviews, just using the gear I got accumulated through the year. And then for the ration, I'm eating a Czech Republic 24-hour IMRE. I believe this is the civilian version of it. I'm really excited to try it out, but it's lunchtime, so let's get started. Okay, so this is the 24-hour Czech Republic. I think it's menu 1. A lot of these I see come in like different color bags, but I'm not sure why this one is white. It is fairly fresh. It's got 3/17/2021, and I don't see any tear notch. Feels like it's in a box underneath, so let's go and check it out. Like some of the Russian rations are kind of boxed up. Let's go ahead and cut the edge out so I can slide it out. Okay, we got our box out. Let's go and open it up and see what we got. Okay, first thing I see is the main, which I'm really excited about. I believe it's a Morvinian Sparrow, which is like a pork and potato, but I've heard from many, like Shocker71 said this is a fantastic meal. So I'm really excited for that for dinner. We have crisp bread, graham. We have another crisp bread, graham. I don't know if that's, I thought they were supposed to be different kinds. Got a, looks like an accessory kit. Actually, I thought this thing would be a little bit more beat up, but it looks like it held up pretty good for just being in a box. The box is pretty thin wall, but I mean, maybe spoke too soon, but these jams, usually these things will pop. That looks like an apricot jam. Cherry jam, nice. And a strawberry. So that's really cool. You get a variation of jams. Looks like 2 vitamin C candies. Looks like instant drink. Not sure if that's isotonic. We got tuna sunflower oil. I believe that's pork and its own juices, like maybe a meat or something. And then we have 2. Oh, this is a chocolate. Maybe it's 2 of them. 2 chocolate bars. And there's some stuff hidden over here. You got 2 teas, coffee, some sugar. I like how it's labeled on all the packages. Another coffee. We got tons of sugars. Looks like another 6 sugars. Some chewing gum. Here's some salt. 2 packets of salt. And another sugar. Okay, in the accessory kit, it's like a big bag for storage. And then comes with 3 refreshing towels. So that's cool. You get actually the dry napkin and 3 moist towelettes in this bag for storing either garbage, water, whatever you need. Okay, for lunch I got cherry jam, some chocolate, coffee, tea, crisp bread, graham. I think this is the pork and its own juices. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to warm this up. I think it's just like a lunch meat. And I got the Czech mess kit for the Czech ration. Okay, we got one of the refreshing towels. Let's go ahead and take a look at that first before we start. This one actually smells like mosquito repellent. And it's falling apart real easy. So I can't even spread it apart. But yeah, it has like smells like off to me. Where you put on for mosquito repellent. Very interesting. I'm hoping it works like mosquito repellent because the mosquitoes are definitely out. Got my stove up here. It's a new stove that Shocker71 gave me. Works out great. I'm just going to do a reverse pour on both these cups so I kind of get what I want. Throw it into the small mess kit, and then we can warm up the water for the tea and the coffee. We can open up the crisp bread grahams. I don't know if these are going to be sweet or savory. I'm interested to find out. I'm not usually a huge fan of crisp bread, but I mean, it's Again, this actually came intact pretty well. I've seen it where it's beat up pretty good. Looks very light and airy, and I'm very impressed that they're not broken up. Let's go and open up this chocolate bar. Wow, I don't think there's any bloom at all. The ration's in good shape. Zero bloom on that. Okay, the ration doesn't come with any utensils, so I got my Mentor Trading Company Tactical Spork. Let's go and open up this. I think it's pork lunch meat. I mean, it looks like you could warm it up, but I mean, or you could just eat it as lunch meat, or what? You got the gelatin, like fat. Pretty good. I'll say I might try some cold, might just try to warm some up. Go ahead and try it like this first. It's pretty juicy. Lots of fats in there. Okay, just by itself, it's very salty. You get the pork flavor. Just seems pretty low quality to me. I think that's like a vein or something, connective tissue. Just pork ground up, thrown in a can. Maybe it's better warmed up. Okay, boiling water's done, so I'm going to throw the pork can right on the stove and then get my water for my tea and my coffee. And the stove's working out pretty good. It's actually cooking it up. And I kept this on here as a little handle so I could lift it off. Go and drop in my tea bag. And the coffee. Let's see what this coffee looks like. It's granules. And toss in the hot water. Coffee has like a chocolate smell to it. Cooking it doesn't really make it looking more appetizing, at least. I'm gonna try the crisp red graham by itself. Just by itself, it's a very light, very airy. Not a huge fan of it, but reminds me of the rice paper that's on the Polish Ration fruit bars. It's just a thicker version of it because it kind of melts in your mouth, but it had, it's really nice layer. But let's try it with some jam and see if we can improve it. This is the cherry jam. This is the cherry jam. It looks in great shape. Gotta try that by itself. Well, that might be worth it just by itself. The jam is fantastic. Very smooth, very natural cherry flavor. That is great just by itself. It's one of the better jams I've had. Let's go ahead and put some of that on the crisp bread. No, it actually takes away from the flavor of the jam itself. I would just eat the jam by itself. Now I got the pork sitting in its own juices warmed up. Kind of break it up. Kind of retry it. Tea's good to go, so I'm going to add 2 sugars to it. Alright, then now let's try this warmed up on the crisp bread. Hopefully absorbs that flavor right into it. Oh yeah, to me, much better warmed up and on the crisp bread. They go together pretty well. The oil actually absorbs into the crisp bread, gives a nice flavor, and kind of like makes a nice crunch, different texture. It's pretty nice. Let me go ahead and try the tea out. Oh, that's very enjoyable tea. It's not bitter to me at all. I added the 2 sugars, had a perfect sweetness to it. Has a little bit upfront. It's not as bold as a lot of the other teas I've had, so it makes it a little bit more enjoyable for me. Go ahead and try some of this chocolate. Oh, this is some great chocolate. It's actually dark chocolate, and it's so subtle on the sweetness. It has a nice, slightly bitter flavor. It's everything you would expect good out of a dark chocolate bar, but it's really enjoyable. I love the foreign ration dark chocolates because they're just so subtle. They're not overwhelming. They're just the perfect blend of sweetness and bitterness. I'm gonna go ahead and wash it down with this coffee. The coffee kind of, like when I put the grounds in, it tastes or it smelled like chocolate as well. This is a nice light roast coffee. It's not does not have a bold flavor at all. It's very it actually has a little bit of bitterness to it, but overall Not bad at all. Has a nice blend of being like a light roast coffee to me, but worked out great. So overall, not bad lunch. There's not a ton of items out here in variation, but we'll go ahead and finish it up with these. I believe this is a vitamin C candy. It's basically just a multivitamin. That's what it says on the package, at least. It kind of melts right when you put it in your mouth, and it's like a orange, citrus, and a little bit more like a fruity flavor, but not bad. Be an easy way to take a multivitamin on the go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish this lunch up, and we're going to start working on camp. Okay, now I got lunch down. It's time to set camp up. So what I want to do is a plow configuration with the Gold Armor tarp. It's one of the ones I have not done before. I got to get all this cleared out, so I'm going to use the Alpha Outpost Prime Tactical Shovel, clear all that out. And then right about where the camera is, I want to set up a 8-hour fire. And this is actually special thanks to Rick. He sent me some information on how to build this. So I want to build it and attempt to build it and see how well it goes. So I'm going to go ahead and start clearing this out. Okay, now that's a workout. I got it all cleared out. Now I'm going to put the line up for the tarp. And the suggestion is keep it waist high for this build. So I'll go ahead and start fastening it to the tree. Okay, I made a little loop. I'm going to run it across at waist height. Pull the open end up. Leave a little opening. Slide the stick in here. Ratchet it down. Pull it across. Okay, now I got my line across. I'm starting to tie my tarp up. Got the tarp laid out. I'm trying to learn all the knots, but this knot is pretty cool because you can set it up on the tarp. You can move it freely as long as you don't put pressure on it, but as soon as you put pressure on it, it doesn't move. So I really like that knot for this setup. I tied the 3 on this side. Now I'm just going to lay everything out and start staking it down. Okay, I think I finally got it. So I fastened up the top. Then I staked down the front 2 corners. I pulled in the bottom other side of the tarp as a ground cover. And then I just, this is the great thing about this tarp, is it has all these tie downs up here. Tie down points, and you actually can tie it up to trees in the back or stakes and open it up. So there's quite a bit of room in here. I got good cover. I'm low profile, so if there's thunderstorms or wind, they should work great. It is supposed to rain tonight, so it'll definitely be a good test. Here's a side view and how I tied off the back. So you can't really see how much room there is on the front view, but in the back you can see there's quite a bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and try to set up the fire method, the auto feed fire. It's basically if you take a setup where you like almost have a U and you stack logs on both sides, and as the fire burns they're supposed to drop in there. I'm going to attempt to set up that next right there so I have an all-night fire. Okay, what I got so far is I got 2 branches. I'm using Y branches because I can tie off here, and I can actually put a support beam across here. I staked them. I basically sharpened them, pushed them in the ground. Did the same thing with these. These are just, I'm trying to find the straightest pieces of what I can, because I'm going to stake the logs here up, and then now I just got to make the other side so they create like a V. And once I stack the logs up, as they burn, they'll slowly fall down. Okay, so the setup is basically, like I said, I got to get some more logs, but I wanted to kind of just show what we have. I put like a little base log down here. You're supposed to put kindling in here and get the fire going, and as the fire burns, it consumes the fuel. As it consumes these pieces of wood, these drip down, and it'll continue to feed as long as you have good hardwood up here. And I'm going to try and stack it up good, and I'll start the fire right before I go to bed. That way I can see how long it's going to last. But like I said, just use the Y branches. I leaned it in there. There's different ways to do this. This is a little bit different than the way I seen. But just trying new things, and we'll see how good it works. But it's dinner time. Okay, for dinner we have the Morvinian Sparrow, which is like a pork, potatoes, and a caraway gravy. Really excited for that. Apricot jam, an instant drink, refreshing towelette, and some leftover crisp bread. So let's go ahead and open up, see how it is. And go ahead and use the stove to get the main going. I'm just going to pop the lid so it don't get too much pressure and pop. So we'll pop the seal a little bit. And we'll set it on there. Okay, while that's cooking, we'll go ahead and mix up our instant drink. Forgot to use the refreshing towelette, but it's really hard to use because it just falls apart very easily. And I'm not sure what flavor this is. Go ahead and, doesn't really smell like anything. It's orange, so maybe it's like an orange flavor. Okay, we can try the apricot jam. Hoping this is as good as the cherry jam just by itself. Same brand it looks like. Again, the jam is fantastic. There's like little bits of fruit in there. It's got juice with it. Very natural flavor. I mean, I love this jam. I'm gonna try some on the crisp graham just to see how it goes. Because I tried the cherry and it was not bad, but the crisp graham really took the flavor away. I'm gonna see how that apricot does. The apricot flavor does go a little bit better with the crisp graham, but again, it takes away that flavor. This would be, for me, I would use these for savory mains only because they really absorb the flavor, and it has to be something pretty strong to overpower the crisp bread itself. Well, it looks like the main's done. Let's go and bring that down. I'm really excited for this. The can is still very hot, so I'm just going to take the crisp bread. I want to try this gravy because I think this crisp bread this is what it's meant for right here. Oh, that gravy is fantastic, and it goes great with the crisp bread. Like I said, as long as this has better or more robust flavor to like overpower the crisp bread, it's a good carrier. But if it doesn't, you'll take the flavor of this all day. But because this is so nice, has a nice strong flavor, it goes well with it perfectly. So see if we can get, there's chunks of meat in here. Like I said, it's pretty hot. All right, now the gravy's really good. Let's go ahead and try some of this meat. You can see the caraway seeds in the gravy, and the meat it absorbed all that flavor. It's got a nice, it is tender, but it still has a nice chew to it. But you can have the caraway flavor really comes through in the meat. Like, it's just really good. All I can say is this kind of gives you a feeling of a home-cooked meal. Really hearty gravy, really good flavor. Doesn't really need any seasoning. Okay, we'll go ahead and try the drink out. Just a nice, refreshing orange drink. Nothing really too special about it. Not too sweet, not too bitter. But I think may have been good for breakfast too, but I didn't want tea or coffee. This is so far MVP. This is definitely worth the ration right here just to have this. If you like caraway flavor. If you don't like the caraway seed, definitely not going to like this. But overall, not bad dinner. I wish there was a little bit more snacks to it, or sides. But it's time to get a fire going. Okay, I stuffed a bunch of dry wood, some kindling. I found some bird's nest, some birch bark. I'm actually going to start this with a Firestarter that Skills to Survive actually sent me in a trade. So I'll put a link for his channel down below. He does a lot of good reviews on survival gear, hiking, camping gear. He actually sent over some mixed wicks. I know that the print's pretty small, but it's a mixed wicks all natural fire starters, and it's a 2-pack, and they're like candles. So you just light them and throw them in there like a briquette. So we're gonna try one out and see how it works. These are nice because they got a wick on them. You just ignite the wick. Once that's lit, slide it into fire where you want to ignite. And get it going. Just like that. Like other fires that are more like automated, such as the Siberian log fire and the Swedish log fire, those in this take a little bit of prep time, and you also have to get a fire going and kind of work its way in there. So you're kind of like initiating a fire, and then you got to work it down, and once you get to ignite the right spot, that's when it really takes off. Okay, it's about bedtime. Fire's still going good. It hasn't shifted down yet, so I started the timer so I can kind of see how long it's going to last, but hoping it'll last till morning, but we'll see. It's burning a little hot right now, so I'm going to try and cool it down, because I don't want it to get to the top of the stack too soon. Okay, I guess it's lights out, everything's set. Fire's going good. And breakfast time, we'll eat the rest of this ration. So I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, it's morning time, and I still got a fire. This thing worked fantastic. I do know my support legs got burned up, and one fell down, but it directed all the wood as it burned to this spot, and that's why I still have the fire. I started the fire about 9:30 p.m., and it's about 5:30 a.m. right now. So I'd say it definitely lasts. It's probably one of the best long burning fires I've had. And I could have done better. Like I said, this first time I made it, after you refine it, getting the better wood, it'll be lasting longer, no problem. Time to make some coffee. Fire up the stove. I have some Nescafe. The ration only came with 2 coffees. I like to have a pre-breakfast coffee. This is the Nescafe. Get some water heated up and we'll be good to go. Well, I hate to admit I didn't sleep the best last night. And it's not the shelter's fault. The shelter works great, but the heat's back, the bugs are back. And both those are combinations for me not sleeping that great. I mean, this just confirms for me this is the hardest season for me to camp. Winter sucks being cold. The fall is the best because it's that nice blend. No bugs, just the right temperature, perfect camping. I was able to just throw some wood on the fire and off it goes. So everything's, like I said, that's probably one of the best auto feed systems I've tried, and I'm going to continue to use it for different trips. Okay, I decided to jump right into breakfast. I'm actually pretty hungry. So we have the tuna, strawberry jam, got some chewing gum, remaining chocolate, and crisp grams. Since I just had my coffee, I'm just going to hold off on that. But this is it. This is actually all that's left for breakfast, and I don't think I used any extra items for lunch or dinner. It's very simple meals, it looks like. So go ahead and check this tuna out. Just a can. It looks pretty good on it. He says has tuna for breakfast, or I mean, I guess this could have been lunch and the pork could have been for breakfast, but I'm more of a muesli or, you know, hash brown and eggs guy. This is tuna and sunflower oil. I am used to tuna and just water. I'm going to try the tuna just by itself. Yeah, tuna tastes just fine. I was expecting to be a little bit more fish taste, but it's actually pretty mild. Let's go ahead and try some on the crisp graham. And it's not a bad item. It's very mild flavor, so it's not overwhelming. Maybe the oil helped out with that. There's sunflower oil. Go ahead and try something like that. Eating the tuna on the crisp graham was like having tuna fish sandwich on whole wheat. It's a very similar flavor to me. Overall, not bad. Now I'm really excited to try this strawberry jam. The last 2 jams have been great, and strawberry is definitely one of my favorites. Yeah, the jams in the main so far, the MVP. These things, all the cherry, the apricot, and the strawberry, of course, is my favorite. Very rich flavor, very natural flavor. Has chunks of strawberry in it, and subtle, yet just so perfect. Now I want to have a breakfast mega bite. Use one of these crisp grams, and when I put the jelly just on the graham, it takes away the flavor. But I was thinking, what if we put some chocolate down too? I love strawberries and chocolate. So we'll put some chocolate down, and this is awesome chocolate. I'll put some strawberry on top of the chocolate. Let's see if that holds up. Now that reminded me of muesli, or a breakfast cereal. Just mixing the dark chocolate actually did perfectly in overwhelming the flavor. So chocolate, strawberry came together, and they didn't get overwhelmed by this crisp bread. But awesome mega bite. I'm gonna go ahead and try the chewing gum. That's the last thing we got. Little square. There's actually 2 pieces in the package. This here ordinary mint gum cleanses the palate really nice, and you know, work great after meals. I think there's only 1 piece in or 2 pieces in here total. Should probably do 1 for each meal. So not a bad breakfast, but I'm going to go ahead and finish this up and hit recap. Okay, time for the recap. So we'll start off the overnight. The overnight was really nice to get a chance to come out in the woods. Even though it's getting hotter, even though the bugs are out, it was really nice to set up camp. I got to try a new tarp configuration, which the ground cover was built in, and then both sides closed off. It's probably one of my favorite configurations so far. But the tarp has so many other configurations and shelters to build, I'm excited to try those. The overnight fire system worked fantastic. Probably the best I've tried so far. Special thanks to Rick for sending me that info. It burned from about 9:30 p.m. to about 5:30 a.m. and was actually still burning. The system I built, it kind of ate the holders, so I got to work on how I build it, but I figure a couple more times of practice, it'll only get better and better. It'll work great for the wintertime, so I'm excited for that. Now, talk about the food. We've got the IMRE Czech Republic 24-hour. Now, comparing this to like a CR1M, it doesn't fare very well. There are some key elements that are in this are really good, such as the main Morvinian's burial and the jams. The jams all were MVP, but the crisp bread I was not really a big fan of. Tuna fish was okay, but I've had tuna fish. It wasn't really, you know, amazing. The drink, there was only 1 isotonic drink. I don't think there was any snacks besides the crisp bread. And, you know, the pork in its own juices, it wasn't higher quality like some of their rations, comparable like the French or even the CR1M, like I said. No survival items, no utensils, just the base amount of food for what you need. So it'd work in a survival situation or if you needed to eat, but other than that, it's not one of my favorite rations. But that's why we try them out. Now, as far as the overnight, again, I'm really thankful about a year ago I decided to come out and explore the woods, start getting back into the woods, start learning about it, because I've learned so much in the year. I still have a ton to learn, and I'm excited to keep trying things out. And like I said, it was kind of cool to celebrate 1 year doing this, and it's still a lot of challenge, still ran into a lot of problems, but it's how we learn. But had a good time. What more can you ask for? That's all I got now, so thanks for watching. Have a great day.